It was a Tuesday night, the kind that smells like rain. The streets were slick under broken streetlights. I wasn't looking for trouble. Trouble found me at the crosswalk where my nephew died. They called it an accident, but in my town, accidents have a color. His name was Darius. 17 years old. He had dreams of playing college ball, of getting his mama out of the projects. One step into that crosswalk, and a truck mowed him down. The driver didn't stop, but a witness did, and she swore. She saw the face behind the wheel, Ethan Keller, the same man who shot an unarmed black kid 10 years ago and walked free. The news spread like gasoline on dry leaves. By morning, the streets were full. Protest signs, police lines, angry voices. Some shouted for justice, others spat the word thug under their breath. And me, I just stood there, watching my sister Lena scream at a cop, knowing deep down, if they didn't arrest Ethan, I would. Ethan wasn't charged. They said there wasn't enough evidence. That night, I cleaned my old army pistol. My hands didn't shake. Not once. Hate makes you steady. I knew where he lived. A small farmhouse on the edge of town. The kind of place where ghosts sit on the porch. When I kicked in his door, he didn't fight. He just looked at me, like he'd been waiting. If you're gonna do it, he said, do it fast. But when I pressed the gun to his chest, he broke. He told me his wife left him, his son ODD. And that night, at the crosswalk, he swerved to avoid a deer. He hit something and panicked. Said he didn't even know it was Darius. Until the news, part of me wanted to believe him. Part of me wanted to pull the trigger anyway. Then, he said something I'll never forget. I see his face every time I close my eyes. And I wish it had been me instead. And for the first time, I saw not a killer, but a man drowning in his own hell. Could have ended him. But ending him wouldn't bring Darius back. It would just feed the same beast that's been feeding on us for generations. So, I did the unthinkable. I lowered the gun and told him, you're gonna confess. To the cops, to the town, to his mama, or I'll be back. The next morning, Ethan Keller turned himself in. Not because the law made him, but because a man he wronged gave him the chance to. Hate tried to own me that night. But I walked away with something it couldn't touch. My soul. Justice isn't always clean. Redemption isn't always pure. But sometimes, it's the only way to break the chain. I thought that night at the crosswalk would be the end of it. I'd stared hate in the face and walked away with my soul still mine. But hate doesn't die easy. It just changes its mask. Sometimes, it's a man behind a steering wheel. Other times, it's four shadows under a streetlight. And the thing about hate, it doesn't always come for you head-on. Sometimes, it creeps down your street, quiet, patient, waiting for the night you least expect. That's how I found myself on Grayson Street. I grew up on Grayson Street. It was the last black block in a white neighborhood that didn't want us there. They called us holdouts. We called it home. But the night they came for us, I learned what fear tastes like and what it means to stand your ground. It started small, trash thrown on our lawns, car windows smashed. Then came the letters, folded neat, slipped under our doors. They said, sell your house, or else. Most families left, one by one, until it was just me and Mrs. Holloway from across the street. She was 82. And refused to be scared out of her own home. One night, headlights cut across my window. A truck stopped outside. Four white men in hunting caps climbed out. They stood in the street just staring, like wolves testing the fence. Mrs. Holloway's porch light came on, and that's when one of them shouted, your time's up. The next morning, her windows were smashed, her front door painted with the words leave or burn. I called the police. They took pictures. They never came back, so I bought a bat, and I waited. It happened just past midnight. The smell hit me first, gasoline. I ran outside and saw them pouring it across her porch. I shot it. They froze. Then one of them smiled and lit a match. I charged, bat swinging. Adrenaline makes you fast and stupid. Two ran. One fought back. And the last one, the one holding the match, I caught him, pinned him against the wall. He couldn't have been more than 19. His hands shook, and that's when he said, "They told me if I didn't do it they'd come for my family." I could have broken in, could have made him feel what we'd felt for years, but I saw it in his eyes. He was just another pawn, so I let him go, but not before I made him swear he'd tell the truth. The next day, the sheriff came knocking, and for the first time in a long time, I saw justice on Grayson Street. Some say I was a fool, that letting him go was a mistake, but I know better. Hate's a disease. You don't cure it by spreading it. You cure it by breaking the chain.